Coach Nate here from Fleet Feet, talking about push-ups, how they can improve your running form. And I'm also inviting you to a 2-week free push-up challenge we are doing in November. We're doing it with a bunch of our awesome brand partners. There's gonna be some killer giveaways. You're gonna be able to meet some other people. You're gonna be able to connect online from all over the country with your push-ups. We're gonna be dropping new daily content. It's gonna be amazing. But let's talk about push-ups first and how they improve your running form. So I've been a run coach and a strength and conditioning coach for years. When I was younger, I got into it because I dealt with a lot of injuries. I was kind of weak and wobbly as a runner, and I realized that I was starting to run too much. I was doing too much endurance sports, and I didn't have that strength foundation. I didn't have that stability in my joints. I didn't have that range of motion to maintain really good, healthy mechanics for long periods of time. And anytime I tried to increase my mileage, I would start to break down and get injured and be super frustrating. It only wasn't until I started to introduce a couple days of strength training a week that it really started to make a difference. And not only was I more resilient, but I was starting to perform better. My running mechanics had improved. My ability to maintain a higher cadence for longer periods of time was better. I wasn't breaking down and losing my posture at the end of the races like I used to. I could maintain it. And honestly, it kind of started with things like push-ups. So I want to just start with this basic setup of the push-up to show you that this upright position we need for running is really challenged right here. I want to think about pressing through my shoulders. My fingers are spread nice and wide. They're directly underneath where my shoulders are. And I'm gonna get my feet nice and straight. My abs are on, my butt is squeezed tight. I'm just creating all this tension in the system. This is way more tension than I need when I'm running, but by building this up here, it makes running feel a little bit easier. Now, as I go through this, I wanna think about drawing a little bit of awareness to my posture. When I start to do push-ups, do I start to disassociate my upper body with my hips? Is this not connected, or can I stay connected all the way through? So important for that core strength and stability. Not only drawing that awareness, but noticing when I start to break down. So that's like the number one thing with push-ups for me, starting to draw a little bit of awareness there and start to really make this connection to be strong and stable. Now, push-ups have also really helped my shoulder position and my arm swing, and not only for me, but for a lot of athletes I've worked with and helped over the years. When we get tired, our neck starts to go forward, our shoulders rotate in, and when this happens, our elbows start to flare out to the side like this. And notice that when I'm here, my shoulders are rounded back, my arm swing is in a nice north-south position. When I start to get tired, my elbows start to swing side to side. And we know that when we're running with our arm swing, we don't want to swing too far because we start to over-rotate, it becomes problematic. We're not as efficient as we could be. We want to stay here. I want to be able to see my hands to the pocket, right to about center line or so. My push-ups, when I do them the right way, can really help with this. And there's going to be a few things we're going to work on. One, we're going to talk about loading the shoulders going forward. We're going to talk about screwing our hands into the ground because that adds a little extra shoulder stability. And then at the bottom of the push-up, we're even going to lift our hands up off the ground for a little extra shoulder extension. So 3 key things. 1, can I get in position? Can I load my shoulders first by tipping forward like this? Second one, can I think about screwing my hands into the ground? What this does is adds that little external rotation, exaggerates that posture that I need that really helps me. Screw my hands in the ground this way. Elbows stay tucked in by my side. Notice they're not flaring out here, they're staying in here. And then third, can I practice a hand release where my hands lift up off the ground, and that gives me that little extra shoulder extension that I need, which is that arm swing. So here, that's a few key things in a row. They're really dense, but by focusing even just one at a time, it really starts to help me build that strength and movement foundation. That's gonna help with my arm swing, which will help with my run form. Push-ups are this invitation for deliberate practice and for more strength training. Now, if I've done push-ups and I'm already in the gym or I'm in my living room and I'm spread out, maybe I wanna start to add some lunges. You know, that's kind of fun. Maybe I add a single leg deadlift as well in between, just to work on a little bit of balance and a little bit of hip and glute activation. Maybe if I felt good with my push-ups, I want to start to add some burpees in there too, just to get a little bit of aerobic, to start moving a little bit more faster and more dynamically. Maybe I want to grab a dumbbell and I want to start some shoulder presses. Maybe I want to get a pull-up bar and see what happens there. All of those things start to add up, but first just getting familiar with push-ups and building a little bit of confidence there opens us up to this whole athletic world that's so helpful. When we start to do these things, we start to add a degree of deliberate practice and intention into what we're doing. Remember, just because we do something a lot doesn't necessarily mean or guarantee that we're going to get better at it. In fact, a lot of the things that we do a lot of or do the most, we don't really think about at all, and our progress in those things have stalled probably a long time ago. And I can give you two great examples. One is going to be your handwriting. You probably learned cursive when you're really young. Maybe you write a little bit here now, but has your handwriting really improved the last 3 months or 6 months? Probably not, unless you've been really working on it. How about your driving? You know, I remember how sweaty my palms were when I was taking my driver's license test, doing my 3-point turn, doing my parallel parking. Now, I just kind of drive. I don't think about it as much, and I can't necessarily say that my driving is better this year than it was, say, 5 years ago. In fact, if you ask my wife, she might have opposite opinions to say in the matter. We only improve on things where we apply a degree of deliberate practice, which is why I want to invite you to that push-up challenge, because we have the daily focus on our push-ups with a little nugget to focus on. You have 2 weeks to start to add this strength habit in there, and maybe to add some other movements in there too. 2 weeks to get a little bit stronger. It's totally free. Details down below. We can't wait to see it in there. Otherwise, we'll see you in these other videos, and let me know in the comments, what other strength movements do you want to see to improve your running? There's a whole lot we can do. We master our push-ups. We get better running form. Can't wait to see you at one of our next Fleet Feet community events or challenges.